y'all, this is Tony, the Black Girl Who Reads. So welcome back to the reading of The Blue Castle. We're at chapter number 4 today. So like I said, definitely, I hope you all have enjoyed the last few chapters because they brought up a lot of me as far as my situation, what's going on, what I've been thinking about, what I've thought about, what I've been through. And I hope that it has done the same for you too. So like I said, go ahead and make sure that you, of course, if you like this kind of book reading and those kind of things, make sure that you, of course, subscribe to the podcast. And, of course, if you're on YouTube, make sure that you, of course, subscribe to my channel, Tonetta Clay, on YouTube. And that information will be in the description for you as well, just in case you're wondering. And you want to see my beautiful face. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and get into chapter number 4. Like I said, of The Blue Castle. Got your rubbers on, called Cousin Stickles as Valancy left the house. Christine Stickles had never once forgotten to ask that question when Valancy went out on a damp day. Yes. Have you got your flannel petticoat on? Asked Miss Frederick. No. Doss, I really do not understand you. Do you want to catch death of cold again? Excuse me, her voice implied that Valancy had died of a cold several times already. Go upstairs this minute and put it on. Mother, I don't need a flannel petticoat. My sateen one is warm enough. Doss, remember, you had bronchitis 2 years ago. Go and do as you're told. Valancy went, though nobody would ever know just how near she came to hurling the rubber plant into the street before she went. She hated that gray flannel petticoat more than any other garments she owned. Olive never had to wear flannel petticoats. Olive wore ruffled silk and sheer lawn and filmy lace flounces. But Olive's father had married money, and Olive never had bronchitis. So there you were. Are you sure you didn't leave the soap in the water? Demanded Miss Frederick. But Valancy was gone. She turned at the corner and looked back down the ugly, prim, respectable street where she lived. The Stirling house was the ugliest on it. More like a red brick box than anything else, too high for its breadth and made still higher by a bulbous glass cupola on top. About it was the desolate, barren piece of old house whose life is lived. There was a very pretty house with leaded casements and dubbed gables just around the corner, a new house, one of those houses you love the minute you seen them. Clayton Markley had built it for his bride. He was to be married to Jeannie Lloyd in June. The little house, it was said, was furnished from attic to cellar, in complete readiness for its mistress. I don't envy Jeannie, the man, thought Valancy sincerely. Clayton Markley was not one of her many ideals, but I do envy her the house. It was such a nice young house. Oh, if I could only have a house of my own, even ever so poor, so tiny, but my own. But then she added bitterly, there is no use in yowling for the moon when you can't even get a tallow candle. In dreamland, nothing would do Valancy but a castle. Sorry, y'all. Where am I at? But a castle of pale sapphire. Where am I at? Okay, I see. I'm getting lost, y'all. Hold on. Okay. In real life, she would have been fully satisfied with the little house of her own. She envied Jeannie Lloyd more fiercely than ever today. Jeannie was not so much better looking than she was, and not so very much younger. Yet she was to have this delightful house and the nicest little Wedgwood teacups. Valancy had seen them, an open fireplace and a monogram linen, hem-stitched tablecloths and china closets. Why did everything come to some girls and nothing to others? It wasn't fair. Valancy was once more seething with rebellion as she walked along, a prim, dowdy little figure in her shabby raincoat and 3-year-old hat, splashed occasionally by the mud of a passing motor with its insulting shrieks. Motors were still rather a novelty in Deerwood, though they were common in Port Lawrence. In most of the summer, residents up at Muskoka had them. In Deerwood, only some of the smart set had them, for even Deerwood was divided into sets. There was the smart set, the intellectual set, the old family set, of which the Stirlings were members, the common run, and a few pariahs. Not one of the Stirling clan had as yet condescended to a motor, though Olive was teasing her father to have one. Valancy had never been in a motor car. Wow. But she did not hanker after this. In truth, she felt rather afraid of motor cars, especially at night. They seemed to be too much like big purring beasts that might turn and crush you, or make some terrible savage leap somewhere. On the steep mountain trails around her blue castle, only gaily caparisoned steeds might proudly pace. In real life, Valancy would have been quite content to drive in a buggy behind a nice horse. She got a buggy drive only when some uncle or cousin remembered to fling her a chance like a bone to a dog. This to me is an interesting chapter. There's not a lot going on in this chapter, but I see that Valancy is still standing up for herself, and she's getting way more frustrated with her mother and everybody else who's trying to run her life. I guess I put it that way. And what I also notice, of course, I know how we can, of course, I've of course been envious or jealous of somebody else's success or that type of thing. So she's looking at the marriage. This young lady's engaged to be married, who doesn't even, well, I guess in her words, may not look the best and that kind of thing, but she's engaged to be married. At least that's what she has in the house that was created for her to live in. And she's wondering why she can't have that. Why can't I have this? I'm better looking, or I got this going for myself and I can't have it still, but only in my fake blue castle. Like I said, y'all, this is very interesting so far, and I hope y'all are sticking with me on this. Like I said, it's definitely interesting. And make sure you come back for more chapters as well, because like I said, this book got a lot of chapters. So with that, y'all, like I said, I'm sure, ladies, this is definitely a good story for us. I guess I put it that way. And of course, I will be sure after this, I'll have more stories for ladies and women and that kind of thing as well. Because I know a lot of you all follow me out there too. So I want to make sure that it's relevant for what we're going through, what I've been through. So I can, of course, just speak on some things, especially my experience and just my feelings around certain things. So, and especially with this story. So far, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. She about to set it off at some point. I put it that way, like she should. So, and I'm sure y'all with me on this too. So like I said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But like I said, I'll join y'all. Join me again for chapter number 5 of the Reading of Blue Castle. Again, if you like this story, or if you like to be read to and hear books read out loud, that kind of thing, with a little bit of commentary, because I'm going to say something. I got 2 cents always. So make sure that you, of course, subscribe to the podcast, The Black Girl Who Reads, on Spotify and any other podcast platform that you're looking at, or that you go to. Apple Podcasts and those types of things as well. Or if you're on YouTube, and of course you're seeing me and my beautiful little necklaces and jewelry and cute little face on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there too. My channel on YouTube is my name, Tonetta Clay. So that's where all my videos, all my information live, especially these chapters that I'm reading. So I'll see y'all in the next chapter, y'all. And let me know in the comments if you can identify with either standing up to somebody that you didn't think you could stand up to, or feeling jealous or envious of somebody because they had something that you wanted. So let me know in the comments, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next episode.